President also said he got tough with Putin when he was talking to him about Russian meddling. More on that in just a moment. The president seems to have had a different story on each of the past 3 days about his thoughts on Russian meddling and Vladimir Putin. Wednesday, he told the CBS Evening News that he informed Putin at their Helsinki meeting in get tough terms that he won't tolerate Russian interference in American elections.
Very strong on the fact that we can't have meddling, we can't have any of that now.
President Trump, in an exclusive interview with the CBS Evening News, describing what he says he told Vladimir Putin during their one-on-one meeting in Helsinki about Russian meddling in American elections.
I let him know we can't have this, we're not going to have it, and that's the way it's going to be.
And for the first time, the president told Evening News anchor Jeff Glor not that he does, but that he would hold Vladimir Putin personally responsible for that meddling.
Well, I would, because he's in charge of the country, just like I consider myself to be responsible for things that happen in this country. So certainly, as the leader of a country, you would have to hold him responsible, yes.
But the president seemed to suggest the reason he wasn't in Putin's face about the meddling was because it didn't work for President Obama.
We're also living in a grown-up world. Will a strong statement, President Obama supposedly made a strong statement. Nobody heard it. What they did hear is the statement he made to Putin's very close friend, and that statement was not acceptable.
When he was asked about the intelligence agencies, Trump ripped into a long list of former U.S. intelligence, FBI, and political officials who have criticized him.
Do you think any intelligence agencies, U.S. intelligence agencies, are out to get you?
Well, certainly in the past, it's been terrible. You look at Brennan, you look at Clapper, you look at Hayden, you look at Comey, you look at McCabe, but I can have a lot of confidence in the present and the future. But in the past, no, I have no confidence in a guy like Brennan. I think he's a total lowlife. Take a look at all of the shenanigans that have gone on. Very hard to have confidence in that group.
All this on the same day that President Trump seemed to contradict his own intelligence leaders again when he said no after being asked at the end of a cabinet meeting if Russia is still targeting the U.S.
Is Russia still targeting the U.S., Mr. President?
Thank you very
Let's
much.
go.
More than 2 hours later, White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders repeatedly said the answer had been misconstrued.
The president said thank you very much and was saying no to answering questions.
And that the president does believe Russia is an ongoing threat.
We certainly believe that we are taking steps to make sure they can't do it again.
The confusion complicates the campaign to clean up the diplomatic debacle of the summit with Putin.
I think he has called them out for interfering our election. He's been tough on Russia repeatedly.
There's been no president ever as tough as I have been on Russia.
Now, the president also told the CBS Evening News that he thinks the Helsinki summit was a smashing success, and he still doesn't understand, he said, what all the fuss was about when he returned to the U.S. He blamed that on the news media, which he charged unfairly portrayed a successful and positive summit as a bitter and negative defeat. Suzanne, back to you.
Thank you, Dave.